Hey everybody, welcome, welcome. So I am joined with my old neighbor,
Yeah.
Marci Schwab. Hi, Marci.
How are ya?
I'm good. And Marci is with Squared Away, which is a very, very unique business. Um, so a new business for you,
Yes.
right? Maybe a year, is that?
A little over a year. It's been in the works for many years. It's just finally come to fruition within the last year or two.
Okay, so let's not make the people the suspense anymore. What is Squared Away?
So Squared Away is a peace of mind planner, essentially. It is a binder that holds all of your, for lack of better terms, end of life needs. So it's got everything from where your wills and trusts are to your passwords, your personal property wishes. It just takes everything and puts it in one place so that when your family needs it, they can find it instead of digging through file cabinets and, various folders.
You could be like my mother. I know we talked about her anniversary of her passing is coming up. And when she passed away, she would always say, I'll put it in the funeral folder. And we always thought she was joking. And then when she passed away, we opened up her file cabinet and there was, to the point where she had spray she wanted on top of a picture of the spray. But it was such a sense of relief for our family to not have to recreate and we wanted to mourn and we wanted to celebrate her. We did not want to sit there and wonder where her will was or where such and such was. That is really kind of the concept and almost how you created this, right?
Right. So I have lost both my parents, and my dad passed away very suddenly. And he had actually sat us down, 5 years before, but he was pretty young at that time. But he had sat us down. We wrote notes. He was like, this is where I want to be buried. We moved. We did these things. We didn't think anything of it. And then he died suddenly, and we were scrambling. We were like, where is that piece of paper that has, and we couldn't find it. So we had to try to remember and jog our brains on, where he wanted to be buried and all that good stuff. 20 years later, my mom got sick, fought a long, hard battle, but in the end, she knew her time was coming and sat us down and we worked hard and planned everything. We met with lawyers. She told us what she wanted in her obituary. And so that was hugely helpful. But in the end, even with all that time, there was still stuff that we hadn't covered. And until you kind of start digging through everything that needs to be accounted for and all that good stuff, you don't realize what else there is besides just your basics. So having my dad died suddenly, my mom died, after a long battle, I realized you're never as prepared as you think you are. And, I just didn't want that for our children. I want our kids, like you said, I want them to be able to be together and not fighting over this and that. And so I created this planner, and my husband and I filled it out. We review it every couple of years, and it's just nice to know that it's all there.
So it's something that you guys create. You're not a probate attorney. This was just based on your own experiences and what you needed, which is pretty common. There are the structured things that you need after somebody passes.
Right.
Right. And it's in a binder that you have just collaborated with and put all together. And
right. So, I have met with some financial planners. I've met with lawyers and said, kind of, what else do we need to put in here? And so, yeah, it's definitely more than your traditional estate planning. People are like, oh, I've got my estate plan. I'm like, I'm not doing your wills and trusts and living wills. This is everything else. Mm-hmm. This is your funeral plans, your passwords, which are so important these days. It is your insurance. How do you pay your mortgage? There's a lot more that goes into it that other than just your will and trust. Mm-hmm. And given, kind of today's current situation where people sometimes are ending up in the hospital for weeks at a time, they can use this binder to figure out how they pay their mortgage. Is everything done online? Their passwords, so family can have access to their email accounts. So a lot of that is important, even in today's world, just in case you end up, unable to talk for yourself for a couple weeks. So it's kind of important.
Yeah, it's very important. And is it a one-time purchase that
Yeah, so you can buy the binder, which is fine. But kind of what I wanted to do was help people fill it out, because we've all bought binders and planners and organizers out the wazoo, and they sit on our desks and we never do anything with them. So I really wanted to go out and help people fill it in, because it's only as good as the information in there. So now I get a lot of people who will ask me to go do it with their parents, because it's uncomfortable for them to ask their parents. So I'll go into the homes and help go through their mail, figure out where their accounts are, ask them the tough questions, put it in this binder. And so the children know, the adults, have the answers to what they need. And nowadays, obviously, I'm not going into the homes, but I am doing conference calls and obviously these Zoom meetings and stuff where I walk people through all the questions and get them answered.
I mean, you hit on something so true, that it's uncomfortable, and sometimes parents don't want to get into it with their kids about the money and things like that. So what a great way to have you kind of be that go-between, so the kids get the information that they need and the parents feel comfortable sharing it with you and not their kids.
Right. I mean, none of us like to talk about getting sick or dying. Unfortunately, it's going to happen to everybody eventually. So it is nice to have it there. And it's tough to talk to your kids or even your spouse sometimes about what your funeral arrangements are, or, that you want that beautiful table behind your head to go to somebody, other than who thinks they're going to get it. It's all important stuff.
Yeah, that is. And another thing that we found was life insurance policies. These are things that you purchase, or your parents purchase, or your grandparents purchase long time ago. They make the check out every quarter, every year, every month, however it goes. And that's not something they tell their kids about.
Right.
And those are things that you need the certificate. You need to know who to contact. So are those one of the things that I'm assuming that you encourage people to kind of gather that information? And
yeah, I mean, there's a whole section on financial information, and you don't need to tell me what's in every account. I just need to, we put in where the account's listed, who the contact is. So it's, investment accounts, bank accounts, insurance policies. Maybe you own a little stake in a private company. It's all kind of written down there so that you don't have to dig through all the files at the end. I mean, the insurance policy can be buried, in under the mattress, and you won't know until you pick up and move.
Right. Right.
And it also keeps track of where, what money you owe, on your mortgage, what kind of, all that kind of information as well. Do you owe money on your cars? Do you own your house? Do you have a mortgage? All, that kind of stuff.
And I assume that it's probably very important to make sure that they are telling their kids where this binder is.
It is very important. So we do encourage people to have a special place, whether it's in the safe or, on a shelf. In some families, what we do is we'll copy it and then we'll send copies to their children or whoever, so that, if you live here in Cleveland and you have a daughter in San Francisco, she has access to that information. So in case you are, in the hospital or something, she has access to that information if you like. Some people don't want them to have it yet, but it is nice to be able to have that information when you need it.
And it's so cool to, not that the way you started it was not cool, but just to watch people that start businesses based on an experience or a need. And that's always told that, especially in the Shark Tank, that those are the successful businesses when you start a business that
Right.
when there's a need. And this definitely is something that we all need to do.
Well, we all need to do it to some extent. And again, it's not estate planning. We hear that a lot. It is more than that. And it's just, even when we go out of town now, my husband and I, we tell my sister, here's the binder, it's in the safe, here's the key. It has everything you need to know, in case of an accident or anything. And it's just,
Right.
it's nice to know that everything's set.
Yeah, and it's truly a kindness to your family. You're doing your family service.
Truly. It is really, truly a gift. I mean, that's what we kind of say. It is a gift to your children or to whoever's surviving you, because it just takes all the guesswork and all of the struggles and the time. I mean, you probably remember, it takes a lot of time to go through everything and sort through everything, cancel all the accounts, and then you get a credit card statement that you didn't even know they had, and then you have to go cancel that. It's a very time-consuming process, and this helps reduce some of that time, some of the legal bills, and everything else.
Yeah, it so does. And like I said, especially you and I both went through the unexpectedness of losing a parent, and it's not where your mind is. And it's not where your mind should be. If there's a binder that you're able to just open and have it all there, gosh, that's just awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah. Well, and just real quickly, a friend of mine, her mom was having a stroke, and she grabbed the binder. Luckily, she had literally done it 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Grabbed the binder as they hopped into the ambulance, and she was like, she's like, I can't tell you how many times I opened it. Her mom's fine now, but she's like, I can't tell you how many times I opened that book, because it had the insurance information, it had the information about her dad. She's like, it was just great to have it all right there. When the doctors asked or anything.
So if people want to find you, where can they go or
So I have a website. It's called Squared Away, the number 4 and the letter U.com. So it's squaredaway4u.com. And you can buy the binder. Just if you just want to do the binder, you can do it then, or you can buy the binder and then there is a charge to have me come out and work with you. It's pretty nominal because, again, it's something I enjoy doing, helping people kind of get organized. So you can buy either or.
Okay. Can you buy the binder and then add your services once you open it? Like, what the heck? Why didn't I just spend the extra money for Marci?
Yes, you can definitely add it on at any point. Now that we're all kind of home organizing, I've had people who've called and said, my husband and I are going to sit down and organize our files. This is the perfect time. So it's a good time while we're all kind of home now to revisit these things.
It's a perfect time because you have the time to do it right now.
Yep.
I'm kind of like starting to, I want us to obviously open up and everything, but it's like kind of like, oh my gosh, I only have a week and a half left. I need to show some more stuff in.
I know. And I'm like, oh, I'll do that project next week. And all of a sudden you're right. I'm like, oh my God, I only have a week to get all my projects done that I've been postponing for a month.
I know. I've probably been working harder than I ever have. So like every time I see those, look at my kitchen, I just redid it, or my house is spotless. I'm like, I don't have time for that stuff.
Molly, you are keeping Chagrin Falls going all by yourself. You just keep going, girl.
I love it. And it's, the Valley's my home, and I want everyone to get through it, and be with us at the other end. And that's just all I hope for. So speaking of projects and downtime, have you been able to pick up any hobbies?
So in terms of hobbies, not necessarily. I will say I am enjoying my nap times more than ever. I do feel more relaxed when I'm napping. I have to say we've had some decent weather, so it's been nice to get out and walk with the dogs a lot more than I ever have.
What time's nap time?
Oh, it depends. I mean,
Whatever.
that time, it could be, you know, I get up with my son and he goes to school at 9 and then I might go back then, or it just depends upon the weather, you know, Cleveland weather.
I know. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? And
It's,
if you had one thing to say to everyone that's listening, what would it be?
you know, in terms of kind of this little business is not to be afraid to talk about the stuff. You know, it really is important. We've been kidding around with it with our kids. We're like, oh, you know, don't forget this song at my funeral. It makes it easier and more comfortable. So, you know, in terms of anything, it's never afraid to talk and share your feelings and share your emotions. I mean, it's just critical right now.
Love that. So true. So true. So once again, tell everybody the website.
So
I
the
will put down
website
here.
is Squared Away, the number 4, the letter U.com. Squared Away for you.
Excellent. Folks, it's so important. Get the binder and spend the extra money for Marci, because you'll regret it if you don't. Well, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Molly. I love it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you take care and be well. And tell the family that the Gablers all say hello.
Well, you as well, and keep those twins coming on Facebook. I love seeing their smiling faces.
I
Holy cow.
will do that. Oh, they are my life. Thank you.
They're
Thank
awesome.
you. Well, we'll see you later.
All right, take care.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.